When you look back at the Saints Row series, you could say it had its fair share of downloadable content. In fact, you could argue that there was way too much. But out of everything that was released, have you ever wondered if there's any DLC that can't be obtained today? With every exclusive, limited, or collector edition of the franchise, what item or items have fallen into obscurity? Well, that's something I've recently investigated. Not only does such a DLC exist, it's for Saints Row 4 nonetheless. So, let's take a look at the rarest DLC in the Saints Row series. Now, if this was 2008, the rarest DLC for the franchise would easily go to the Movember pack for Saints Row 2. As a limited exclusive to EB Games, this DLC was made in collaboration with the Movember Foundation to help fight against prostate cancer and men's depression. The pack included 10 unique mustaches based off winning submissions from Australian citizens. The only reason the Movember pack is no longer a rarity is because its contents were added to the Corporate Warfare DLC in 2009. With that little history lesson out of the way, let's move on to Saints Row 4. It's honestly surprising that one of the later entries would have a DLC that's nearly unobtainable. Saints Row the 3rd and 4 were the most accessible games in the series, being launched on 7 separate platforms and both having a re-release that included all the DLC. So this only makes things more peculiar. Well, I guess I should end the suspense. The DLC was the Team Fortress 2 pack. If you even remember this DLC, it was likely during the summer of 2013 when it was advertised as an exclusive pre-order bonus for the Steam Commander-in-Chief edition of the game. It would include a Soldier RPG skin for the rocket launcher, the Pyro's Incinerator, plus an additional skin, the Rainblower. However, this never actually happened. Oddly, the only official way to obtain the DLC was by pre-ordering the game on GOG or buying the DMR Free Game of the Century edition. This brings up a good question though. How in the hell does a DLC based off a Valve IP wind up on a competitor service instead of Steam? I doubt Volition would make the DLC first then request Valve to approve it. And it isn't like the two studios haven't cooperated in the past. Saints Row the 3rd had the Valve clothing pack, which is made up of Team Fortress mask, and TF2 even had Saints Row themed items such as Killbane's mask, the Mark of the Saints badge, and the Apocalypse. There must have been some last minute dispute since the pack was mentioned in Saints Row 4's marketing up to the point of the game being available for preloading on Steam. There hasn't been any official statement from Volition on the matter, so we're really left with just our imagination as to why Valve was against the DLC. However, there is some hope to obtain the DLC if you haven't purchased the game on GOG. The first is to have a cracked executable for Steam, or to get your hands on the press build that recently leaked online. In the press build, you simply need to enter in the command DLC unlock all, and voila! It will be available at a portal or friendly fire. After all this talk, we might as well take a closer look at the DLC to see if it's even worth all the trouble. The Soldier's RPG may just be a skin, but it certainly looks accurate to the game. I'm sure any TF2 fan would be satisfied with the model. As for the Incinerator and its alternate skin, they also look quite authentic. The Rainblower skin even has an alternate flame effect which resembles the Meet the Pyro trailer. When it comes to the weapons use in combat, however, is when we run into problems. Even with full upgrades, the weapon's damage is simply pitiful. Seriously, you're looking at 15 seconds or more to kill even the weakest enemy type with consistent fire. The only sensible time you'll find yourself using the weapon is during mayhem, since it could destroy civilian vehicles quickly. But other than that small gripe, I wouldn't have mind spending $1 or $2 on this DLC. And that's the odd history of one of the rarest DLCs in the Saints Row series. Though we're still left with a lot of questions, it's fascinating nonetheless to see a single DLC made for an exclusive service somehow wind up on its competitor. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know this was on the shorter end, but I just got over a really rough cold, so I thought a more laid-back video would be best to get back into the groove of things. Like always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Orbs may be difficult to catch, but the
Here you go.
reward is well worth the effort.